Can't hear anything.
Yeah, I don't hear nothing either.
Oh, that's because. Whoa. All right, here we are. Welcome back to another week of College Football Gridiron Report on North Florida Sports Talk. Marty Pallman with Corey Davis. Again, we are joining you from our homes tonight. Corey, you can see, is in a nice lazy boy rocking chair, and I'm just sitting here on the bed at home. So
let me get it rocking for you, so you think
yeah, now making me wish I had the rocker, of course. But we'll return next week to Beef O'Brady's, some car issues for Corey, and we're just doing it at home this week. A lot going on because Corey's got football tomorrow night at Palaca. I'll be at Citizens Field, and then I'm at Bishop Kenny on Friday. So we got the high school football playoffs underway. And we just had about an hour and 40-minute show. Noah Ram of the Gainesville Sun joined us. You can check that out as well. As we are on YouTube once again tonight, North Florida Sports Talk. So this is the College Football Gridiron Report, though, and we got a lot to get to this week. Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hi, Kristen. Yeah, hello. So we are got a lot to talk about here tonight, college football. Some breaking news we're going to start with in a moment before we get into all the games. But, story that just hit. Michigan State has got some sanctions against it having to do with Mel Tucker's tenure as the head coach there.
Yeah, ineligible players, from what I read on the little ticker, they have to forfeit 14 wins from 22 to 24. And probably, I don't remember if they went to a bowl or not, but they probably got to forfeit the bowl too.
Well, I think they had 4 wins so far, so they weren't quite bowl eligible yet. But
No, in the last 3 years.
Oh, okay. You mean vacated? Yeah, all 14 wins in the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So that had to do with Mel Tucker.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. So that story just hit here this evening with a 3-year probation. So that is where Michigan State has going on. Of course, we also had another edition of the College Football Playoff come out last night, and we can talk about that here in a little bit as well. But already this week, games to talk about, of course, because we had Maction last night.
I'm actually watching the game right now on the big screen. I've got it like a 75, 80-inch screen, and watching Toledo. In a game, the winner is bowl eligible. Toledo's up 21-0 early in the third quarter over Miami, Ohio.
21-0. Wow. Okay. So that's anyway, they had all those games last night as well in the MAC. So all right, but starting that game last night, Western Michigan, they get to 6-4. They stay on the top of the MAC at 5-1. As they hold off Ohio 17-13 at home. Ohio now 6-4, 4-2. Kent State in overtime. They win the Wagon Wheel Trophy. Getting it for the first time since 2022 as they beat Akron in overtime 42-35. So the Wagon Wheel Trophy, huh?
Yeah, it's actually really cool. If you've ever been to Famous Amos, you kind of
that wagon, yeah,
the wagon wheel they have at Famous Amos. But I mean, there's nothing special about it. It's not like they don't paint it or nothing. It is that ugly brown color. But it's really cool.
So Kent State gets that back from Akron. So we got a logjam in the MAC. We got Western Michigan at 5-1, Buffalo, Miami of Ohio at 4-1, Ohio at 4-2, Central Michigan, Toledo, and Ball State all 3-2. So as usual, the MAC is kind of up in the air. It seems like that happens every year.
By the way, Toledo just got a field goal, so it's now 24-0.
And they're beating. Who'd you say?
Was it Miami, Ohio? I think it was.
Oh, so that would bring both those teams to 4-2 in the MAC. Yeah. Grambling State beating Bethune-Cookman last Saturday at home 31-23 in a SWAC game, but apparently that was just the beginning. On Monday, the SWAC announced 27 players suspended from that game. 18 from Grambling, 9 from Bethune-Cookman. Interesting story there. 3 of those players receiving a 2-game suspension, while the remainder will serve a 1-game suspension because, well, there was a brawl between the two teams. And they got SWAC also fined Grambling $40,000 and Bethune $25,000. So obviously a pretty big brawl with that many players suspended.
It popped up on my Google front page, and I was like, "Whoa, we got to talk about this," because I think I saw video of this the other day. And if it's the game I'm thinking of, that was ugly, an ugly fight. I mean, you had players like 4-on-1, which was an unfair advantage.
Oof. Yeah, that's no good at all.
Yeah.
So big fight there. Grambling loses 18 players, for the next game, and then again 3 get 2-game suspensions from both teams or from those teams. The Rose Bowl has filed a restraining order to keep UCLA from ending the lease early and continue to play their home games there through 2043. God, that seems like that's freaking 18 years from now. The Rose Bowl has been home to UCLA games since 1982, but the program is attempting to move its games to the newer SoFi Stadium. Of course, that's where the Rams and the Chargers play, a few miles closer to the school's campus with a capacity of 70,240. Of course, UCLA Rose Bowl seats nearly 100,000. The average attendance for the Bruins in their 5 home games this year, 39,000. They're 3-6 and 3-3 in the Big Ten. Yeah, I saw the crowd last week against Nebraska, and it was maybe a third full for that game. It was pretty bad to see on TV.
But I get why they're, they haven't said that they're leaving, but they put a feeler out there. I mean, SoFi is a lot nicer than the old Rose Bowl, and it's closer. So I can't blame them for looking out there. But the Rose Bowl is like, nuh-uh, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, well, that's the again. Well, right, and because all they have left if the UCLA leaves is the Rose Bowl game. I mean,
right, and maybe an occasional high school game, maybe.
All right. Well, we just switcherooed.
Well, welcome back, Marty.
It says, turns out that USC jersey swap was illegal according to the Big Ten, and the Trojans should have. I don't know what you're talking about here.
Oh, so you don't know the story? Okay.
Backup punter Sam Johnson, jersey of quarterback Sam.
USC was punting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know about this.
They put a backup quarterback out there, and they changed his jersey to the number of a backup punter. Well, then they throw a fake punt pass. They get the first down, and they eventually score. And apparently, they played Northwestern last week. Northwestern was like, it kind of is what it is. We were aware of it prior to the game, but apparently the Big Ten came out and said, no, you can't do that.
Huh. That was the Northwestern game last week?
Yeah.
Friday night? Okay. Yeah, I did not hear that story, but that is kind of funny. So they switched jerseys. Interesting.
Right. You can't do that. Like, I've been to high school games where, a kid will get blood on his jersey.
Right.
That's one thing to change the number. But like, I've been to games where a kid will, like, the first half will have like 10 yards. Halftime, they'll put another jersey on him. Well, the other team's focusing on stopping that number. They don't realize that the kid wearing the new number is the same kid, and that kid goes out and runs for 120 yards in the second half.
Yeah,
you can't. You're not supposed to do that. It's wrong.
Sam Houston, they finally get a win. They're 1-8. They win 21-17 over Oregon State. The only winless team remaining in the nation in the FBS class is UMass, 0-9.
Yeah.
The lone undefeated teams now, we're down to 3. Ohio State, boy, Indiana barely, the skin of their teeth, wins at Penn State to stay unbeaten. And Texas A&M, no problem with Missouri last week for them. Ohio State had no problem with Purdue. So those 3 remain unbeaten. BYU drops from the unbeaten ranks this past week with the loss at Texas Tech. So you lose at least one more unbeaten team there as well. So trying to look at the other teams here. After Cal upset Louisville Saturday, the ACC title race now stands Georgia Tech 5-1, Pitt 5-1, SMU 5-1, Virginia 5-1, and Duke 4-1. Georgia Tech travels to BC. Pitt hosts Notre Dame this week. Virginia travels to Duke, and SMU is off. Georgia Tech will play Pitt next week, so that'll be a big game as well. In the last 2 weeks, the league went from 2 potential playoff bids to now likely one team as Tech, Louisville, and Virginia all lost league games. Louisville. That upset at Cal was pretty surprising, as was Virginia losing to Wake Forest 13-9, I believe. The worst case scenario for the league would be for Duke to win the title, which will likely mean no playoff. Well, wait a minute. Doesn't the ACC have to have a team in
No,
the? Yeah,
because
I thought they did.
it's the top 4 conference champions. So
SEC, Big
Duke
12,
wins
Big
it,
10.
right? If Duke wins it, Duke would be. They're so far behind that South Florida would
Oh,
jump in there and
right,
take
right,
that spot.
right. That's true. You know what's weird in the CFP coming out last night, and they have Miami listed in the
Well,
thing.
that's in
Miami's
my
not even
nuggets.
going to even play for the ACC title. I mean, I know they're the highest ranked ACC team right now, but they're not even going to make the title game with 2 losses. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
That was in my next set of nuggets. Here.
Oh, sorry. I was just getting ready to that. The second set of playoff rankings came out Tuesday. A little bit of drama: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia. Texas Tech 6, Ole Miss 7, Oregon 8, Notre Dame 9, Texas 10. Then you got Oklahoma, BYU, Utah, Vanderbilt 14, Miami 15, Georgia Tech 16, USC 17, Michigan 18, Virginia 19, and Louisville 20. The final 5 are Iowa, Pitt, Tennessee, and then South Florida and Cincinnati now at 24 and 25. Controversy, well, and the ESPN broadcasters put Miami or Georgia Tech in the playoff field, despite Miami being currently 7th in the league and Georgia Tech at the top. That's what I mean. I don't even know why they did that, because Miami, I guess
because
Miami's
they're
still
going by the highest ranked team.
Well, but technically Miami could still play for the ACC title, I guess, but they're not.
Oh yeah, but they need so many things to happen.
Yeah, there's 6 teams ahead of them.
They need so many teams to lose. Like I saw the crazy scenario of the Hurricanes getting into Charlotte, and it's like if.
Yeah, I think honestly, this still sets up well for Georgia Tech. I mean,
yeah,
even though
they just got to win this week, and then basically it's going to come down to 2 games: the winner of the Georgia Tech Pitt game, and the winner of Virginia Duke.
And then Georgia Tech plays Georgia. If they can beat them, that'll only help. But that last week, but yeah, you're right. It's going to come down to that, I think, and Tech being the highest rated outside of Miami ACC team helps them as well.
Yeah.
All right. Bowl bound this week. Arizona gets to 6-3. They get a bowl, but Iowa State, they go to TCU and end a 4-game losing streak, go to 6-4. Wake Forest, with their upset at Virginia, goes to 6-3. They're bowl eligible. Cal goes bowl eligible 6-4 with that big win at Louisville. Coastal Carolina 6-3. Jacksonville State 6-3. East Carolina at 6-3, and Western Michigan 6-4. So we have 60 of the 80 slots now full for bowl games. We're already 3/4 of the way there. So,
and with Toledo killing Miami right now, they'll go to 6-4, so they'll be bowl
61.
Yeah. So we'll be at 61 after tonight.
Here are a lot of bubble teams for bowl games. Still, you got Duke 5-4, NC State 5-4, Baylor 5-4, Kansas 5-5, Northwestern 5-4. Down to Rutgers, who beat Maryland last week. They're 5-5. LSU at 5-3 still needs a win to get bowl eligible. Mississippi State at 5-5 now. They need a win to get bowl eligible. Utah State 5-4, Arkansas State 5-5. And if not enough teams qualify, new Division I teams, Missouri State 6-3 and Delaware 5-4, they can make a bowl, but only if not enough teams qualify.
You don't have to read that next part. That's just to help me keep track of the numbers.
Okay, yeah.
The conference breakdown. You don't have to read that part.
Right. So, right now the Big Ten has already 10 teams eligible. Minnesota joining.
Well, the SEC's been stuck at 9 for a while too.
Yeah, as you said, LSU and Mississippi State trying to get in there. I don't know if Florida's going to do it now because they got to win out. Yeah. And I don't think they're going to beat Ole Miss this week even.
Nope.
Even if they do beat Tennessee next week, but as I say, the SEC has 9. The Big 12 has 9 with Iowa State joining there as well. And the ACC does have 8 teams bowl eligible right now, as Cal, Wake Forest joined the crew last week. And then you go down to the independents, Notre Dame and UConn, the 2. And UConn beat Duke last week.
Yeah,
big win for them. Notre Dame had no problem last week as well. And now they'll get Pitt.
That's where game day is going to be this week.
Notre Dame Pitt?
Yep.
It's at Pitt, right? At the
yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
used to be called Heinz Field. Now it's Acrisure Stadium there.
Because apparently that's where what's the crazy guy that takes his shirt off?
McAfee, Pat McAfee.
Yeah, apparently he's from Pitt or
He
Pennsylvania.
is. Yeah, he went to West.
So it's a coming home for him.
Right, he is from that area.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Pitt, let's get into the ACC this past week.
Yeah, SMU beats Boston College 45-13. That puts SMU back near the top of the league, 7-3, 5-1 in the ACC after that win against Miami the week before. Boston College at the bottom of the league, 1-9, 0-6. Miami rebounds to beat Syracuse 38-10 as they stay in ACC title contention. They are 7-2 and 3-2 in the ACC. Syracuse 3-7, 1-6. North Carolina, they hang on, get another win. That's 2 in a row for Bill Belichick's Tar Heels, 20-15 over Stanford. Tar Heels are 4-5 and 2-3 in the ACC. Stanford at 3-7, 2-5. Cal.
I'm surprised if they get to bowl. If they get bowl eligible. I mean, outside of Duke, I don't remember if they still have NC State or not. But they
do have NC State.
Don't be surprised if they become bowl eligible.
Yeah, they're playing a lot better last few weeks under Bill Belichick there. Cal, big win for them, 29-26 at Louisville, a touchdown pass in overtime. Cal 6-4, 3-3, and that really hurts Louisville's chances, who was number 15 at the time, now 7-2 and 4-2, and now they are out of the running for the ACC title. Clemson, this game Saturday, this was an ugly game. Clemson beats FSU 24-10, so Clemson getting closer to bowl eligibility, 4-5. They're 3-4 in the ACC. Florida State falls to 4-5 and 1-5. FSU is going to need to find 2 more wins coming down the stretch as well. And then
they got Virginia Tech this week.
Yeah, that might be one. And then they've got Florida at the end. Who knows? But not sure they have in between. I think they have another kind of weak opponent on their schedule.
Yeah, I think
Wake Forest. This is an ugly game. A defensive game. Wake Forest does win at Virginia 16-9. As the Demon Deacons go to 6-3, 3-3. Virginia was in control of their own destiny in the ACC. Now falls to 8-2 and 5-1 in the ACC. Their first loss of the season for the 14th ranked Cavaliers in the conference.
Well, what this has done basically, I was trying to figure this out last week before Georgia Tech got upset. The margin of error now, had Georgia Tech beaten NC State and Virginia would have beat Wake Forest, Georgia Tech's only got Boston College this week and Pitt next week. And the margin of error has become very slim now, where, they could have lost to Pitt had they not lost to NC State and still been the number 1 seed and, made the ACC tournament championship game. And same thing with Virginia. Right. By losing to Wake Forest, Virginia has no more margin of error. They cannot afford to lose another conference game, or likely they will not go to Charlotte.
Yeah, that's right. They really can't. And who do they have left? I was trying to remember that.
Well, I know Virginia Tech for sure, and they got Duke.
Right.
So that should be it, I think.
Yeah, I think they're 8-2. They only got 2 games left. You're right.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's move along to the SEC. The Battle of the Dogs goes to the Georgia Bulldogs, 42-21 at Mississippi State. Bulldogs ranked 5th, 8-1, 6-1. Mississippi State falls to 5-5 and 1-5. Georgia staying in that SEC title race. In fact, pretty sure if they beat Texas this week, they most likely will be in. Although Alabama and Texas A&M still are unbeaten. But a big game for Georgia.
I don't think Georgia controls their own. They don't, because the fact that Alabama and Texas A&M don't play each other. So if Alabama and Texas A&M at least win their conference games, both of those will be going to Atlanta.
Yeah, I think Alabama has. Oh, they play Oklahoma this week. That's a big game. So they're at home against Oklahoma, and Georgia's got Texas at home Saturday night. So yeah, those are. You're right. Texas A&M is playing South Carolina.
I think a cupcake.
Oh, they are? Okay. They still have a game with Texas remaining on their schedule. So.
You're right. Texas A&M got South Carolina.
Yeah, and then they close at Texas. I think there's a cupcake in between.
Yeah.
Right? Speaking of A&M, they have no problem winning Missouri 38-17. So A&M now 9-0, 6-0 in the SEC, number 3 ranked now. Missouri falling to 6-3 and 2-3. That game in Columbia, Missouri last week. This was a really good game, back and forth. Auburn, their first game with DJ Durkin as the head coach, they actually scored 38 points, which Auburn hasn't been able to score points all year. But Vanderbilt got 45 against them. It went back and forth. Vanderbilt gets the win, 8-2 and 4-2. The Commodores, they stay on the edge of that college football playoff race, trying to get into that top 12, although I don't know if they're going to make it at this point at 8-2. Auburn now 4-6 and 1-6. This was a fun game to watch.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I wish I would.
Oh, yeah, you didn't see it. Sorry.
I wish. I didn't watch hardly any college football Saturday, but that's a game I wish I would have been able to watch.
Yeah, that game was wild. Auburn really played pretty tough in that game on Saturday against the Vanderbilt. Ole Miss shuts out the Citadel 49-0. Ole Miss now 9-1. They are number 6 right now in the playoff. And the Citadel, they have no problem with them at home. Actually, there's I'm looking at here 7 in the CFP, currently 6th in the AP. And Alabama over LSU 29. This is kind of an ugly game. Garrett Nussmeier gets benched in the third quarter for LSU. They go with Van Buren the rest of the game. Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier's had a rough year, and LSU drops this game 29. Alabama didn't look great in this game, but their defense did enough to win, and they go to 8-1, 6-0. They won 8 in a row, ranked 4th. LSU falls to 5-4, 2-4.
Well, sometimes that game can be defensive
like
game.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's been 9-6 games in the past.
Right,
I remember,
7-3, 9-6 kind of games.
Yeah, exactly. So, and well, I guess we can talk about this game. Kentucky 38, Florida 7. I don't know what to say. The Wildcats go to 4-5, 2-5, trying to get bowl eligible. Florida 3-6, 2-4.
Well, basically, one team played like that was their bowl game, and the other team played like they just didn't show up.
Yeah, and I think the Georgia game took a lot out of Florida because they put a lot out on the they had Georgia beat, and when that game got away, I think it may have just.
I gotta warn her real quick. Hey, live webcam, by the way.
Warn her what?
Well, because of the live webcam.
Yeah, Florida. I think they had a lot. I mean, they just didn't look like they wanted to be there. You're right. And I don't know what they're going to do about their quarterback. TJ Lagway obviously is not the guy. I mean, he's just not playing well. He's like Trevor Lawrence, but with the Gators.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They got trip to Ole Miss this week. We'll see if they have some pride. Otherwise, they'll get beat really badly again.
I saw this stat on Twitter. It's the worst loss since 1950 when some guy named Bear Bryant was the
Kentucky?
Coach of Kentucky. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They had some of their best years in football. Kentucky did with Bear Bryant there before he went to Alabama, but that was in the 50s, as you said. But yeah, not a good game. Florida. Kentucky has won 5 out of 7 now against Florida after losing 31 in a row.
Yeah.
They've really turned that series around recently. All right, let's look at the SEC. We will have picks coming up, by the way.
By the way, UMass is down 45-0 early fourth quarter. So it looks like they will be 0-10 then. Yeah.
Who are they playing?
Northern Michigan, one of those. Northern Illinois.
Michigan. Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois.
Okay. Yeah, they might go winless. The way we're looking at this year, but all right, on to the Big 12. Houston, they have a back and forth game again with UCF. They come back late to win 30-27. Houston goes to 8-2, 5-2. UCF loses another close game. They go to 4-5 and 1-5 as Houston scores late, down 27-24 to win that game. Texas Tech, boy, they pound BYU 29-7. Game day was there, and
Patrick Mahomes was there.
Lubbock, yeah.
He was the guest picker.
The 8th-ranked Red Raiders go to 9-1, 6-1. Now they're in control of the Big 12, at least to play for the Big 12 title, as BYU falls to 8-1, 5-1. Not even close. 29-7 Texas Tech as BYU's luck or their wins kind of run out. West Virginia, they get their second win in a row, 29-22 over Colorado. 4-6, 2-5 now for the Mountaineers. Colorado is 3-7, 1-6 in the Big 12.
No bowl for the Buffaloes.
Not this year. Arizona down 20-17 scores late to get bowl eligible. They win at Kansas 24-20. Arizona 6-3, 3-3 in the Big 12. Kansas 5-5, 3-4. As I mentioned, Iowa State breaks the 4-game losing streak. They get bowl eligible, scoring late to win at TCU 20-17. But in that Texas Tech BYU game, as you said, Patrick Mahomes, there's the guest picker. I tell you, Texas Tech is going to probably be the only Big 12 team in the playoff, and they're pretty good. I mean, that defense is really good. Their only loss still coming to Cincinnati.
Well, I think it's clear that Texas Tech and BYU are the two best teams in the league, and they will likely play, unless we get more upsets, they will likely play in the championship game.
Right.
But the rest of the league, I mean, I thought Houston would kill UCF, but they're struggling, but they're winning, but they're struggling.
They lost to West Virginia the week before, though.
Iowa State, shocks TCU. It's like the rest of the league doesn't want to compete with BYU and Texas Tech.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like. Although Utah's close. But they lost big to Texas Tech, and they lost close to BYU. So, yeah, they're
– I forgot about Utah. Yeah,
Utah's 7, but they've lost to Texas Tech and BYU. So that's the only issue there.
This week, so that's why I forgot about them.
They're the only – in fact, those are the only 3 Big 12 teams. No, Cincinnati is now 25th. They're in the top 25, so of the CFP. All right, on to the Big Ten. USC over Northwestern 38-17. We talked a little bit about this game earlier, that whole fake punt scenario. USC, that was a Friday night game, goes to 7-2, 5-1. They were 21-14 at the half. Outscored Northwestern 17-3 in the second half. Northwestern 5-4, 3-3 in that game. USC playing pretty good football. They're a team to watch too, because they could still maybe sneak in. I think that play the playoff.
I always forget his name. What's the guy that played quarterback for Alabama?
Greg McElroy.
He actually, last week he was on the whole watch out for so-and-so team. Last week it was Pitt. He was like, watch out for Pitt. Pitt can make some noise. This week when the rankings came out, they talk about multiple teams to watch out for, but he talked about USC as the sleeper team in the Big Ten that could potentially, well, I don't know if they play, they don't likely play Indiana, Ohio State, but they could make some noise.
Yeah, their schedule's not bad, I think, down the stretch. They've already played Notre Dame. They've already beaten Michigan. They've already beaten Nebraska. Oh, they got Oregon.
I'm saying they do play Oregon, yeah.
Yeah, they got Iowa at home this week, who isn't a bad team, and then they close with UCLA, who they usually beat. But and then USC's at Oregon on the 22nd, so that'll be the biggest game. In fact, that might be a game that decides if Oregon makes the playoff. They may need to win that game, or if USC beats Oregon, they could possibly move past them. So that'll be a big ball game as well. All right, Indiana, boy, this was believe it or not, I was texting Corey about this game, and it was hard to believe. Penn State was down in this game. They came back, took the lead 24-20, and then one of the greatest catches you're ever going to see, Omar Cooper Jr. You talk about a toe tap catch. He in the back of the end zone, he makes this play. When you watch it live, you're like, oh my gosh, he got pushed out of bounds. There's no way. He got that foot in. I mean, I can't believe it either. But Indiana needed it because they're able to pull that game out late to go to 10-0 and 7-0 in the Big Ten. Penn State, poor Penn State, 3-6, 0-6. They can't get a break. It looked like they finally were going to get a big win, and it got away from them at the end. But
I think a lot of people were surprised that they didn't. That struggle win, come behind win, they didn't penalize Indiana because they stayed ahead of Texas A&M, who took care of business this past week
against a ranked team on the road too, Missouri. Which you're right, that's a little different. But yeah, that they have not passed. A&M did not pass them. I thought they might as well. So Indiana goes to 10-0. They've got Purdue, and I honestly think they're going to be 12-0 now. I don't see really anything that's left. It's going to be probably any problem for them. But, Ohio State, speaking, no problem with Purdue, 34-10. They go to 9-0, 6-0. And the Big Ten, Purdue falls to 2-8, 0-7. Ohio State's schedule is just so easy, it seems like, right now.
Well, they got the big one that they cannot win.
Michigan coming up.
Yeah.
That's coming up at Michigan in a few weeks. And Rutgers beat Maryland 35-20. Antoine Raymond, 240 yards rushing, career high. Rutgers gets to 5-5 and 2-5 in the Big Ten. Maryland now playing with an interim coach, Mike Locksley being fired, 4-5 and 1-5. Oregon, Iowa, watched this game as well in a terrible, just awful weather, which was like sleet that turned to snow during the game in Iowa. And they played Iowa's style. It was a slow-scoring slog of a game. And Iowa scored with about 45 seconds to go to take the lead 16-15. Oregon goes down the field, and they get a 40-yard field goal to win at 18-16 on the final play. By the way, my favorite new name, Atticus Sappington. That was Oregon's kicker.
Oh, wow.
Who kicked the winning field goal in that game. But it was tough because, again, the field was wet there, so it was a really good kick. But Oregon, their CFP playoffs hope stay alive with that win as they go to 8-1, 5-1. Iowa 6-3 and 4-2. This was an upset, and really bad weather in Wisconsin, in Madison. Snow, ice, sleet look like. But Wisconsin down 10-3 in the third, 10 unanswered points in the quarter. Bad loss for Washington. They fall to 6-3 and 3-3 as Wisconsin goes to 3-6 and 1-5.
I think that may have also occurred because the Wisconsin coach just got they
gave him the vote of
contract
confidence.
extension. Yeah,
that. You're right. That did just happen, and they probably played their best game of the season against Washington. So upset there. And then the last game in the Big Ten, this was on Saturday night late at the Rose Bowl. Nebraska gets the win 28-21 against UCLA. Backup quarterback TJ Lateef, 13-15, 205 yards and 3 touchdowns with Dominic Raiola out for the season. Nebraska 7-3 and now 4-3 in the Big Ten. And UCLA falls to 3-6, 3-3. So a good win for Nebraska on the road. All right, other scores from last Thursday. I think we talked about this game because we were on last Thursday. South Florida, no problem with UTSA. Texas San Antonio 55-23. South Florida still with a shot at the playoff. They are 7-2 and 4-1 in their conference and American Conference. Pardon me. UTSA falls to 4-5 and 2-3. A game we talked about last Friday. Big win for Tulane after losing to UTSA the week before. They go on the road to the Liberty Bowl, beat Memphis 38-32. Tulane now 7-2 and 4-1. Memphis 8-2, 4-2. Now Memphis, who beat USF a couple of weeks ago, now is out of the running for the American Conference Championship game.
Yeah, because you got South Florida, Tulane, and I believe North Texas is still in contention.
North Texas only has the one loss to USF. That's right. Yeah. So they are in there as well. UConn, good game, good win, coming back to beat Duke 37-34. Signature win for the Huskies. They're 7-3 now. Duke falls to 5-4. Good ball game there for UConn. Notre Dame, no problem with Navy, 49-10. The 10th ranked Irish are 7-2. Navy, good year for them, but they're now 7-2 as well. And boy, oh boy, how about the Rainbows? Late Saturday night in Honolulu, 38-6 over previously unbeaten in the Mountain West San Diego State. Hawaii 7-3, 4-2. San Diego State 7-2, 4-1. This is what happens when you go across that big Pacific Ocean into Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And the Rainbows played one of their best games of the year.
Yeah, the Aztecs were in control of the Mountain West, and Hawaii said, "Not so fast, my friend," and put it on them too, which was even more impressive.
Yeah, they did 38-6 again in the final there. All right, time to look at this week's schedule. Of course, we talked about the games last night: Kent State and Akron, Ohio, Western Michigan. Tonight we had Buffalo at Central Michigan. I guess that's on CBS Sportsnet. You talked about the games. NIU is beating UMass bad, and Toledo was all over Miami of Ohio. That was on ESPN.
24-3 early fourth quarter Toledo.
Yeah, Buffalo Central Michigan was the other MAC game tonight. Yeah. One game tomorrow night, only one game, and this is out of the Sun Belt. Troy at Old Dominion, 7:30 on ESPN. So that'll be the ESPN college game on Thursday. 2 games on Friday night. Again, Louisville, big game for them as they host the Clemson Tigers, 7:30 ESPN. Louisville coming off that loss to Cal. And also another big game for Oregon is Minnesota, who's not a bad team, comes into Eugene. Minnesota at Oregon will be a 9 o'clock kickoff on Fox on Friday night.
That's Saturday, the game I would love for Minnesota to go into Eugene and come out with a win, because then that would just cause more chaos in the Big Ten.
It really would. Yeah, Oregon's
outside of Indiana and Ohio State, obviously.
Yeah, Oregon's got Minnesota and USC the next 2 weeks, both at home, but they do have those games. And Minnesota now they are actually in a position to they are 6-3, so they're bowl eligible as well. But that was another rumor that, by the way, I heard yesterday was PJ Fleck to LSU. I don't know. That one surprises me a little bit. I don't know if I see that, but then again, I didn't see Brian Kelly going to LSU. By the way, have you heard that story about what's going on with Brian Kelly?
Yeah, he's suing LSU for
Yeah.
all sorts of.
They don't want to give him his buyout. They're trying to get him fired for cause, but apparently LSU hired a private investigator to follow Brian Kelly for the past year. So they obviously were looking for something there. But anyway, just the funny things that kind of go on there as well. By the way, there were no firings this past Sunday. The first time
in like
6 weeks of that.
I was going to put that in my notes, and I was like, no, someone's going to get it fired.
No, I didn't.
First time in 8 or
6
9
weeks. Or maybe even longer. You're right.
Yeah.
That might be since the first couple weeks of the regular season. You're right.
I think week 3 is when coaches started getting fired. So we've gone like 8 or 9 weeks with finally a coach not getting fired.
Yeah, I think that UCLA fired Deshaun Foster and Virginia Tech fired Brent Pry in week 3. So that's right. That's when it started. All right, let's take a look at the schedule. Saturday, the noon game on ESPN will be South Carolina at Texas A&M as the Gamecocks continue to. They're not going to make a bowl at this point. Probably not going to win this game. New game on FS1, Arizona and Cincinnati. The Bearcats trying to stay in the hunt for the Big 12 title. New game on ABC. This is where game day is going to be, as you said, Notre Dame at Pitt. That'll be at Heinz. I can still call it Heinz Field, where the Steelers play in Pittsburgh. It's where Pitt Panthers play. Yeah, yep. Still, but it's technically known now as Acrisure Stadium. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
They changed the name like last year. Noon in the Big Ten Network, Wisconsin at Indiana. That'll be probably an ugly game for the Badgers. Noon game on Fox. Big game for Michigan on the road at Northwestern as the North Huskies try to get bowl eligible there. USF, this will be a tough game. Heading to Annapolis to play Navy, who's 7-2. USF.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Navy. Navy's still in the mix too.
Navy's one loss came to North Texas, so if they beat USF, that'll put them in the middle of that. USF needs to win this game to keep that up. That'll be noon on ESPN2. South Florida at Navy. Arkansas at LSU 12:45 on the SEC Network. Can Arkansas get an SEC win? And LSU, they need one win to be bowl eligible, so that's a big game for them. 12:45 SEC Network. The Fox 3:30 game, UCF at Texas Tech. Texas Tech now in position to win the Big 12, and UCF struggling this year. Big Ten Network 3:30. USC will host the Iowa Hawkeyes as USC tries to work towards the playoff. The SEC 3:30 game on ABC, big ball game here. Oklahoma at Alabama. Oklahoma with the 2 losses this season so far, coming to Ole Miss and to Texas. They try to stay in the midst of this SEC and also in the CFP race.
The big Alabama, game that we'll be watching at 3:30.
ACC Network, Georgia Tech and Boston College. Now, this shouldn't be a big game. It shouldn't be that tough. But then again, Georgia Tech, who knows? It seems like they could make it easy. And Boston College has not won an ACC game. So, but that game is at BC. Who knows how the weather is going to be? It'll be 3:30 on ACC Network. 3:30 FS1, Maryland and Illinois. 3:30 on ESPN. Again, Hurricanes, I feel like Miami always plays this 3:30 ESPN game now. They'll host NC State this week. NC State coming out the bye after knocking off Georgia Tech.
Good God, look at this CBS game.
Yeah, I don't know what they were. Talk about a bad week. Penn State at Michigan State on CBS at 3:30 now. Before the season, this may have looked like a good game, but it's not. These teams are, I think, 3-6 for Penn State, 4-5 for Michigan State. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't get Iowa at USC there, but I don't know. That game's on Big Ten Network. I'm not sure how they figure that out, but I don't know why CBS would cover that game either. Like that. Hello. Does that on its own. Virginia at Duke, 3:30 on ESPN2. Again, big game in the ACC. Both teams have one loss in the conference. Game is at Duke. Memphis at East Carolina. Memphis now has kind of fallen out of the top of the American Conference. 4 o'clock ESPNU. Tennessee, like a homecoming game, basically. They'll host New Mexico State, 4:15 on the SEC Network. Will Bill Belichick get his team bowl eligible? This is a tough step. North Carolina at Wake Forest, because Wake Forest is coming in off a win at Virginia. That'll be the weekly CW game at 4:30. So big game for both those teams. Then we go to the night game, 7 o'clock on FS1. Washington will be back home against Purdue, who was at the bottom of the Big Ten. This will be a pretty good game, probably 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Utah traveling to Baylor. We talked a lot about Baylor this year. And then 7 o'clock on ESPN, the Lane Kiffin Bowl, Florida and Ole Miss on Saturday night. And by the way, it came out yesterday that Lane Kiffin is now the big betting favorite to be the next coach at Florida. So the odds now are definitely for Lane Kiffin. We shall see. I think that's happening, but I mean, there's a lot of talk about
if they run the table, make the playoff, or regardless if they win the SEC or not, because that's the goal. There's only a handful of teams that have never made the. Obviously, Texas, Oklahoma not being in that conversation. But
Kentucky's never made it. Vanderbilt's never made it. Yeah.
Ole Miss, never made it.
Yeah. They're one of those names. I mean, Mississippi State's made it. South Carolina's made it. I mean, some of those other teams have been there. Arkansas, yeah. Missouri made it a couple times when they first joined the league. Yeah. So, but yeah, never Ole Miss. They've been close. The Eli Manning years, they just missed out. But, yeah, and they need some help right now because they've got A&M, Alabama, and Georgia ahead of them. And Georgia's already beaten them head-to-head, too. So, all right, so Florida Ole Miss, that'll be 7 o'clock ESPN. Again, another night game for the Gators, and they love putting them on at night for some reason.
Don't even bother to watch that game.
Florida Ole Miss?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't.
Watch Texas, Georgia.
Yeah, I'll be watching that. Virginia Tech, FSU, those 7:30 on ACC Network. The Noles need 2 wins to be bowl eligible as they return home after the loss at Clemson. You just mentioned the game, Texas, Georgia, 7:30 on ABC. Georgia beat Texas twice last year in Austin and then in the SEC championship game in overtime. Again, Texas, to have any chance at the playoff, or it probably won't be in the SEC championship, but to have any chance for the playoff, they need to win this game. And Georgia does too. Georgia needs to stay in that race as well for the SEC title. So big ball game for both those teams. Saturday night in Athens. That's going to be fun. Texas and Georgia. We've seen Arch Manning play a lot better the last few weeks. So, Ohio State against UCLA. That might get ugly. 7:30 on NBC. Ohio State hosting UCLA in Columbus. The 7:45 SEC Network game, Mississippi State at Missouri. And the 10:15, the Big 12 After Dark, 10:15 on ESPN. The U's play TCU and BYU. That's the late game on Saturday.
That's when Marty's eyes are in the back of the head and he's, counting sheep.
I sometimes can get through the late night games, but it depends on if I'm having to watch Georgia Tech at noon, which this week they're at 3:30. Because that was their first night game of the year against NC State, and they lost. It was like their first non-noon game, it seemed like. But all right. So we were a little bit before 10 o'clock. So time for the picks. And we got a lot of games to get to.
I'll go first since you went first in high school.
Well, first, we need some results from last
week. Yeah. Marty, you went 17-8, and I went 18-7.
I had a good week,
Which means we are now tied 119 and 75.
Not bad. That's about right. I think we're pretty much kind of on that, both around that level, and that's a good week for us last week. It's tough. The college game, I mean, we could roll through the high school games. You and I can, knowing the teams. I mean, in 1 week, I didn't lose any games in high school, but that's not going to happen in the college.
It actually came down to, I believe it came down to Nebraska UCLA game. I had Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I picked UCLA. They were at home, but that was only a touchdown game. But I also took BYU, and they got blown out at Texas Tech. I kind of thought Texas Tech was going to win that game. But anyway, we'll worry about that another time. So we'll start Friday night, Clemson at Louisville, and you'll go first this time.
Yeah. Louisville needs that game a lot more. Clemson's trying to fight for a bowl, but give me Louisville.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with Clemson. I picked them last week to beat FSU, but that they they should beat FSU. Louisville coming off that loss to Cal, but I think they'll get it turned around and they'll beat Clemson as well. Minnesota at Oregon. Again, that's Friday night, the Big Ten game there from Eugene.
I so want to pick Minnesota. I love the whole road the boat. I love their coach. But man,
PJ
on
Fleck,
the road, that's probably going to be like 10:30, 11 kick. Yeah, it's got to be a
I think it's 9. Kick. That's 9 o'clock, actually.
Okay, so it's really like
6
o'clock or
there.
7 over there in Minnesota.
Right, or in Oregon. They're in Oregon, so it's 6.
Well, no, I'm talking about Minnesota.
Oh, in Minnesota, though. Yeah, it'll be 8 o'clock in Minnesota.
Yeah. Give me Oregon.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'd like to take Minnesota, but I'm not. I can't. Not in Eugene. I think Oregon at home is obviously. They have lost one game at home this year to Indiana, but I think they'll win this game as well. All right, on to Saturday, South Carolina.
Show me the money. ATM.
The ATM. Yeah, I agree. No real problems here. It's a noon start, which means 11 a.m. at Kyle Field, but they should take care of South Carolina on Saturday. Arizona at Cincinnati. The Diamondbacks and the Reds. I just look like a baseball game for a minute, but
great game here. So much at stake with the Big 12. Cincinnati checking in at number 25 in the playoff rankings this week. So
yeah,
Cincinnati's got a lot to play for. I'm going with Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati is 7-2. One of those losses was to Utah a few weeks ago at Salt Lake City. So yeah, they're having a pretty good year. Before that, they had won 7 in a row. They lost to Nebraska by 3 the first game of the season. So that's been it for them. But I like Cincinnati too at home to win this game. I think Arizona's having a good year at 6-3, but I'll take the Bearcats as well. Notre Dame at the Pitt Panthers.
I would love to pick Pitt because I think in some ways, this would help Georgia Tech because
true.
If Pitt wins that game, they're going to be.
It's not a conference game, but you're right. It helps in the standings.
But I'm saying as from a confidence level, Pitt might go in there. Oh, well, we just beat Notre Dame, so Georgia Tech ain't nothing.
Yeah, that could be.
In that case, I would like Pitt to win, but Notre Dame is on a roll. Notre Dame has been kicking butt. I'm going Notre Dame.
Keep in mind in the CFP this week, we mentioned Miami is 15, but probably not even going to play for the ACC title. Georgia Tech is 16, Virginia 19, Louisville 20, and Pitt is 22. So Pitt's the last ranked team out of all those.
Yep.
So yeah, if they beat Notre Dame, that could raise them up to that. And of course, then they need to beat Georgia Tech as well the following week. I've got Notre Dame as well. Notre Dame's playing good football. They seem to be rolling. I'm going to take the Irish to win.
Indiana. Yeah, Indiana.
Yeah. Hoosiers. Indiana wins that game. Yeah, no problem there.
Michigan
Northwestern and
Northwestern's actually a pretty good team. They're on the verge of qualifying for a bowl. I think they're somewhere around the 5-3, 6-3.
They're 5-4, yeah. They're 5-4. Yeah. And Michigan's 7-2 now. They've been playing their best football lately, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Michigan though.
Yeah, it's again that's a noon game, 11 a.m. start there in Chicago and Evanston. I'll take Michigan as well to win that game. I think they're trying to work their way up towards the playoff. They got Ohio State, of course, in a few weeks. South Florida at Navy. We talked about this game a little bit. Big game in Annapolis.
Give me the Navy.
The Naval Academy? Okay.
The Naval Academy.
The midshipmen, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, I just learned that I forgot this. That Michigan Northwestern game is technically not at Northwestern. It's at Wrigley Field.
Oh, that's right. It's where? Yeah. Oh, Wrigley Field. That's right. Northwestern, I believe, is still having their stadium built. So that's right. They do play games at Wrigley Field every now and then, which is an interesting place. If you ever watched them, Notre Dame played there a few weeks ago, and because there literally is no room. Like the goalposts are on like the back brick wall in right field. I mean, it's like there's not a whole lot of space there. That game is at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, that's what it said across the bottom line.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I was just
So who you taking, South Florida or Navy?
Oh, sorry.
You want the Bulls?
I do. Give me USF. I mean, I think they're a good team. I think they're the best team in that conference, but they did lose to Memphis. Tough
All
game
right,
earlier.
somebody's got to win a game. Arkansas or LSU.
Kansas. Yeah. Arkansas to LSU.
As much as I would like to take bacon bits, I got to go with LSU.
Yeah, you need to stop taking bacon bits. That hasn't been working out
Yeah.
so well for you. You know, this comes down to who cares more. They're both playing with interim coaches. The game's in Death Valley. And I think LSU is actually, they played Alabama pretty tough. I'll take LSU at home as well.
Okay.
We got UCF at Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, no doubt.
Yeah, Red Raiders going this week. I'm not picking against them anymore for a while. Iowa at USC. Tough loss for Iowa last week to Oregon. Now it has to go to the Coliseum in LA.
And for that reason, because they are playing at home, I'm going Southern Cal.
Yeah, I think USC's playing pretty good football too. The only loss they've had in the last month was to Notre Dame. And again, they're 17th in the CFP. Yeah, I like USC. Oklahoma and Alabama. Yeah. 3:30 game on Saturday, ABC.
Roll Tide.
Okay.
Because we're playing at home. And, not to say Oklahoma doesn't have a lot to play for still, but Bama's got an SEC championship and a college football playoff and a first round bye. Well, no, they wouldn't have a home game.
Right. Oklahoma's 11th in the CFP, which is interesting. Most likely not going to play for the SEC title with the 2 losses. And Alabama's been playing. Yeah, Alabama's won 8 in a row. I'm with you on this one at home. I think Bama wins. Georgia, how long do we need to talk about this one? Georgia Tech at Boston College.
Go BC. Not.
You're not wearing the Georgia Tech jacket
tonight.
No.
So. I'm inside my house, so no, I don't need to wear it right
You don't need it, right?
I'm going Georgia Tech, obviously.
Yeah, I'm taking Georgia Tech. We're going to keep that up. Maryland at Illinois.
Illinois is kind of faded, but I still like Illinois.
Well, they're 6-3. They're not quite at the top of the Big Ten.
Right.
But Maryland's kind of gone downhill. Interim coach for them now. I like the Illini to win as well at home. NC State at Miami.
Go Wolfpack.
Yeah, that's nice. But who you got winning?
NC State.
You're taking NC State?
Okay. Go Wolfpack. Because they have beaten Virginia and Georgia Tech.
That's true, and they've lost to some other teams that aren't very good. They're hard to figure out.
But the 2 biggest games of the year for them, they took care of business. And Miami is kind of, you don't know what's going on with Miami, and why not NC State?
They looked better last week, but that was against Syracuse. This is an interesting game. I'm gonna take the Hurricanes at home to win that game. I don't believe in. I think NC State was a little bit of a fluke in that Georgia Tech game, but we'll see. You're right; they did beat Virginia in a non-ACC game earlier in the year. I still think that's the funniest crap I've ever heard. But Penn State at Michigan State. All right,
man, somebody's got to win this game.
Penn State coming off that Indiana game.
Will they be fired up and ready to play Michigan State? Actually, I was going to pick Michigan State until this crap went down tonight.
Yeah.
And I know it has, well, actually it does have to do with them because you're talking about 22, 23, 24. So it kind of does have to do with this team. Right. So for that reason, I'm taking Penn State.
I thought it had more to do with Mel Tucker, but
well, it does, but it's 22, 23, 24, which means last year's team, which means some people on this year's team would have been on last year's team, and now they've got to forfeit some of the games that they just won.
Penn State does seem to be kind of the last few weeks they played Ohio State tough for about 2.5 quarters. They seem to be trying to have some pride. I'm with you. I like Penn State. I think Penn State wins this game too on the road.
Okay.
Virginia at Duke.
99% of the country is going to root for Virginia. Nobody wants Duke to win except for Duke. Unless maybe, take that back. Miami might be rooting for Duke because
I
it's
think a
one of
lot
the
of teams are rooting for Duke. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
it's one, if you're like Miami, um, maybe Louisville, you need upset wins. So
Right.
maybe those kind of teams are rooting for Duke. But um, I think last week was a fluke for Virginia, and I think Virginia wins.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to pick Duke, but I don't really. They're not exactly playing their best football right now either.
No, they just
Uh,
lost to UConn, which isn't not a bad team, but still,
yeah,
I mean,
but it was a 37-34 game. Yeah, I feel like Virginia's had some close games lately, but I kind of feel like Virginia rights the ship too, even though it's on the road. I like the Cavs. I feel like
yeah.
Virginia's played actually better on the road at times, but I'll take Virginia as well. Memphis at East Carolina.
Give me Memphis. Memphis still has an outside chance to
Yeah,
win the conference. They're not the favorite anymore, but they still have a chance. But they must beat East Carolina or their hopes are dashed.
yeah. I don't even know if East Carolina, honestly, how they're. I guess they're bowl eligible. I think they're
They're both
close.
eligible. They're in the middle of the pack, but
Yeah, yeah.
no chance.
I think Memphis will win too. I know it's on the road, but they laid an egg against Tulane at home last week. Tulane's not a bad team, but
Yeah.
I think the game they lost that was kind of surprising was the UAB. They lost to that was their first loss in the conference of the season. They lost to UAB the week that they had just fired Trent Dilfer. So um, North Carolina at Wacky Forest in the ACC.
North Carolina wins this game to get closer to bowl eligible, but I really like this Wake Forest team all year, with the exception of when they got hammered by FSU. Didn't see that one coming at all.
Mm-hmm.
Wake Forest playing at home. Give me Wake Forest.
This is a team that beat SMU, that beat Virginia.
Yeah.
They've beaten two of the top teams in the conference. They had Georgia Tech beat. I mean,
Yeah.
they ended up losing in overtime. Yeah, laid an egg against FSU, but they're coming off a big win. They're confident. I still don't trust North Carolina either on the road. I also give me the Forest, Wake Forest.
Uh,
Purdue at Washington, Big Ten game.
the Big
Nah,
Apple. Give me the Huskies.
yeah. Purdue is terrible. Washington rebounds at home after that loss to Wisconsin. Utah at Baylor.
I think Baylor is not playing for anything but maybe a bowl. Give me Utah.
I think Baylor needs one win to be bowl eligible. I think they're 5-4. Yeah, Utah's playing pretty well right now too. I agree. I would take the Utes. Florida at Ole Miss.
I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this. I'm pretty sure we're both going to pick Ole Miss.
Not so fast, my friend. No, I can't do that. No, I can't. I can't take the Gators. Sorry. I took them last week against Kentucky. How'd that go? No, Ole Miss might be the best team in the SEC. I know they lost to Georgia. They played Georgia in Oxford. They beat them last year. I think they beat them, but if they played them again, they might beat them. But yeah, I like Ole
Yeah.
Miss. Virginia Tech at FSU on Saturday night.
We picked this game in our picks in the paper, and I
Mm-hmm.
struggled with this one, but I was like, FSU's coming off that huge win over Wake Forest.
Right.
This is a home game for them. They need what do we say, 2 or 3 more wins to become bowl
They're
eligible?
4-5. Yeah, they need 2
So they need
wins.
2 more. I think this is one they get.
Yeah, and I think they have another cream puff in between as well. And then, of course, they close at Florida. And it is no, actually, it's not a. They go to NC State next Friday night, so not a cream puff so
Oh,
much
okay.
anymore. So yeah, they need to win this game and then probably hope to beat Florida. I mean, they could beat NC State, but yeah, I got. I think FSU wins at home. Here we go. Texas at Georgia.
This was another game that we picked, and for the reason that this team is home, I'm going with the Bulldogs because they've not shown me nothing all year, except for the fact that they find a way to win a close game.
Georgia.
Yes.
You're right, and for that reason, I'm going to take Texas because
Okay.
Texas is playing better right now than they have all year. Their quarterback is Arch Manning's playing his best football. Um, I think they've got it. I think they've righted the ship, and I think they lost to Georgia twice last year. I'm with you. I don't think Georgia's that good. I mean, I picked Florida to beat them. Florida should have beaten them. I know it's in Athens, but still, I like Texas. I think Texas wins this game Saturday
Okay.
night. Um,
I don't think we need to really talk about this one. I think
UCLA at Ohio State. Yeah,
we're gonna
Buckeyes.
pick Ohio State on both of those games.
Yeah, Buckeyes there. Mississippi State at Missouri. Miss and miss here.
Missouri with their 8th home game of the year.
I know,
I
right?
swear they've only been on the road Auburn,
Vanderbilt. That's it.
and Vanderbilt. Yeah.
That's it. That's the only on road games.
I don't know who their AD paid, but he needs a raise. For the reason that they are the home team, I'm going with Missouri, but I really hope that Mississippi State wins because I want them to go to a bowl.
Yeah, they need to. They're 5-5, so one win would get them bowl eligible. By
And they
the way,
need this win because the other game was Ole Miss.
Right. Missouri actually is at Oklahoma next week. They have 2 road games to finish at Oklahoma, at Arkansas. But yeah, they have played. This will be their 8th home game.
Yeah,
they played at Auburn and at Vanderbilt, and that is it. They've been home every other week. Yeah, I'll take Missouri at home to win as well in this game. Finally, last game, Big 12 after dark, TCU at BYU.
Well, TCU has shown me nothing. You never know what you're going to get with TCU. BYU's playing at home.
Yeah.
Give me BYU.
Yeah, I should have taken BYU against Iowa State and Utah and some of those teams. And then I took them to beat Texas Tech, and that was not right either. So I'm going to take them to beat TCU. TCU losing to Iowa State last week also makes me kind of pause and wonder about how they're doing. But yeah, give me the Cougars of BYU. All right.
By the way, after all those games, we have two differences.
Yeah, these aren't great. This isn't another great schedule, honestly. I mean, there
the
are
only
some
games we have different are Navy,
USF
South
and Navy,
Florida,
and Texas.
And NC State, Miami.
No, Texas and Georgia. We got 3.
Okay, I didn't highlight that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And honestly, I think I'm taking Texas just to make a difference there, but I actually think Texas can win that game. But yeah, that's right. It's not a lot of great games this week. This isn't the last 2 weeks. The schedule's been a little bit, now we're getting into rivalry time soon, which is good, but a few weeks. All right. Well, again, we're a little bit past 10. That's okay. Our show
before we leave, I do want to mention this from last night. I know we 100% talk college football, but last night was a huge night in college basketball. Florida hung on to beat Florida State.
Yeah.
And actually, the way the schedule worked out, we had 3 games with ACC versus the SEC. And the SEC won 2 of the 3 as South Carolina beat Clemson.
All right.
And then Louisville, I think that game was at home, beat Kentucky.
Louisville, yeah. Yeah, they did beat Kentucky pretty handily too, and then
3
Florida
great games last night to really kick off college basketball. I mean, I know it's been going on for like a week or so, but to me, that was like a big night for college basketball.
It was, yeah, because they that last week they have those like Duke and Kentucky. Those games kind of happen, but yeah, last night was a pretty big night for this time of year.
And I want to say. Basketball. I didn't stay up for it, but I want to say the 10 o'clock game was like Gonzaga and somebody pretty good too.
Well, there was another game last night involving top 20 teams. Illinois beat Texas Tech, at Champaign. So that was another game. So yeah, it was a pretty big night for basketball. Usually this time of year, it's a little until we get through the college football season for the most part. It's not a lot of huge games. Gonzaga beat Creighton 90-63 last night. So yeah, that was a number 23 against number 19 there. So
yeah, that was like the ESPN game because I was watching one of the MAC games and they're like, coming up next, Gonzaga. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Late game there as well in Spokane. Well, we'll probably try to get in some college basketball too as the rest of college football season goes on. But Gators had a tough game last night. They are not exactly where they need to be right now, but they were able to win against FSU for the 5th straight time. So by 2 points. All right, that's it. Hopefully everybody will enjoy another good weekend of college football. Next week we'll be back at Beef O'Brady's in Stark Wednesday night, 9 to 10 for the college football gridiron report. High school show will again be 7:30 to 9 next week. Whoa.
I hit a button I shouldn't have.
You hit the button. All right.
Yeah, I hit a button.
Well, that's all right. We're done. See you later.